Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, what are we talking about? Well, we talking about the Lakers and the Warriors game 2. Now, I just took a look at the injury report and I saw that Mo Bamba is questionable with ankle soreness. And it's funny because my initial thought was to turn on the camera and then center my idea around kind of some things that I think we can do to simulate the same wingspan and defensive, uh, in dynamic that AD brings to the table by utilizing Mo Bamba's length and kind of running the same plays you would run for AD, regardless if he can execute them the same way or not. You just want to keep that same psychological dynamic on the floor for the Golden State Warriors to think that they can't get in the paint. You feel me? To think that on a defensive end, they got somebody they got to consider to swat their shit to hell, excuse my language, all night long. And so that's one of those situations where I look at the Golden State Warriors and I say, if we dumb it down and be small, they're going to look at that as a green light to attack, and they're probably going to run the score up really high and get those layups we often like them erase. Now, I know we have the dynamic to be weak-sided, strong at all times at this point with some of the rotations that we use, but I want a psychological advantage. I want them to see a 7-footer down there with long arms at all times, someone like AD who's basically impossible to get over. And so when you have that in place at all times, you really keep the team feeling like it's hopeless, but to shoot a bunch of threes. And since they have such fantastic shooters, they will overshoot. So that's really what it's about. It's psychological for me more so than about the execution of perfect plays in those circumstances. If we have to sit AD down, which is what this is all about, then in theory, I would have wanted us to use Mo Bamba to kind of just do AD-like stuff. Simulate him for small spurts, very small spurts, so that we can get AD some breaks and keep that dynamic on the floor. But you can do the same thing with Winyan to a degree, but it won't have the same psychological advantage. They won't see it the same way. I promise you they won't. It's about that length and it's about that height that Mo and AD bring to the table at all times, and just make it so that you just don't want to drive, make you feel like you can't drive, and make you feel like you probably shouldn't. And so that is the dynamic that I'm trying to bring to the table to start this video. But unfortunately, with Mo being kind of for the night, I don't think this would be the night to use him like that, to say the least. So carry forth. The Lakers have been doing good things with these adjustments that we've made from series to series at this point. And in game 1, we were really pleased the way everything looked, except for in the fourth quarter when the Golden State Warriors went on their run. But really, on this channel, we didn't have a problem with how that turned out at all. I think we responded well to what they were doing. I think we attacked it the way that we were supposed to, and ultimately it was A-okay. But I hear most were very upset about it, so it's noteworthy that we want to hold leads if possible and understand that surge is always coming. So, they're going to have to figure out, and when I say there, I mean the Golden State Warriors, are going to have to figure out a way to neutralize Anthony Davis and kind of get him out of the paint. Because as long as we have him down there doing what he's doing, they're not going to be able to get a whole lot inside, and they can't attack us properly if that's the case. They can launch 53 shots from behind the arc if it makes them feel better. Maybe that wins them a game or two, but ultimately they got to strategize a way to overcome this, or they're going home. And it's our job to anticipate anything and everything that they're going to do in ways that would counter what it is that we've been strong at. Or we'll see them not and then fail to overcome what it is that we're doing, because schematically at this point it just looks pretty basic that they're going to have trouble so long as Anthony Davis is playing like this. In my mind, if I'm them, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, I'm not going to really be playing too many series with the Splash Brothers on the floor at the same time, because you need so much in size to go against the Lakers that it's almost impossible to have those guys out there doing what they do and then having the players around them that ultimately complement them while still getting the most out of what you need in order to defend and stop us. So they got to kind of go with more Kuminga, Looney, Draymond-ish defensive lineups, Wiggins, GP2 type of lineups, to really be able to function in a way that can threaten us properly. Because if they're just shooting threes with their shooters and not getting enough press toward us and pressure on the rim, so to speak, then as I said, that scheme will just be to our advantage. The schematics are to our advantage rather, and it goes left for them. So I'm definitely a fan of how this looks for the LA Lakers through one game. And the adjustments that the Golden State Warriors are going to have to make don't seem to really be there on the roster. They're just going to have to make do with what they have and hope for the best, unless they can pull something out of the hat that I just don't see. I've mentioned Dante DiVincenzo as a player who's had some special abilities at times, getting to the lane and stuff like that. That might be an option. Obviously, using Wiggins like a running back isn't always a bad idea. I'd probably do that if I were them. Just have him drive 7 to 8 times a quarter, just to put the pressure on the rim and just like use the 3-point line off of that if at all possible. That seems like their best bet to me, truthfully. And if we see them do that, then we've already fathomed it. We talk about it now, and we'll be ready for him in regards to that. Draw the charge or what have you. But you got to go to things that you probably just don't want to do if you're the Golden State Warriors, if you don't want to play into the Lakers' hands, And so that's really what it comes down to. Who can drive to the rim? Who can put pressure on the rim consistently? Who can get to the line all the time? And, I was listening to Gilbert Arenas talk about Steph Curry, and a lot of times this is what I see as well. Steph is going to get the shot up before you're able to contest it. He's going to get his layup, his teardrop layup over your head, even if you're Anthony Davis or Bamba or all of our guys like that. So we just got to be ready for Steph. Try to continue to keep him out of the lane. Try to continue to keep him shooting threes. And live with the results. He's going to hit 10 threes, 11 threes, maybe 15 threes. Who knows? This is the greatest shooter to ever play. So if he hits 100 threes, we won't be overly shocked because he's just that great. But he's going to have to do that 4 times. So Clay's out there, same thing. That's why I got this thing in 6. I give them both a game. That's pretty much how it goes. Jordan Poole is a talented player, man. He had a rough shot at the end of the game. Some think he shouldn't have taken it. I made a video arguing that I think he should have felt confident that that was the shot to take in that moment, even though I'm a strong, proponent to clock management and being mindful of the clock. When you're going up against certain scenarios and certain situations, the open shot is the best shot for a guy who's been hot. And when you take a dribble in the situation he was in, you're taking a dribble toward really, really, really fantastic defense. And since that defense is so good, you got to take the open shot. And given that he had hit 27-footers all night, there was really no reason for him to think he shouldn't take that shot. Now, I could argue that angle sucks, and maybe Draymond Green shouldn't have passed him the ball. But that's on Dre for putting him in that position to what? Get him an open shot? That's kind of what you want Dre doing, is getting people open shots. So it's really just on Jordan to make the shot, and it didn't fall. And I'm happy about that as a Laker fan. But for me to say that's not a good shot, I understand a little better than to say that. I just understand a little better. Now, you could argue that maybe you're tired of him taking those shots in general, but why on a good night? He's hit a lot of them. So it's hard to understand it fully and then not agree with those who say it's not a bad shot. That's just what it is. Sometimes, and it's hard for me to kind of grasp this, but I'm learning to. Sometimes it is just better for a 3-point shooter to take open 3. And sometimes that's coming from them walking the ball up the court and just launching it because the defense is sagging off of them. And maybe because they're walking it up, it's like 18 or 19 seconds in the shot clock. It's hard to wrap my brain around that. It's not a high percentage shot for a lot of the players who like to take it. But at the end of the day, if you have like a Ray Allen, Steph Curry type shooter, them getting an open shot against tight defense, all night long tight defense, is a good thing. And if that's how you get it, then you probably like your odds. You weighed the ridiculousness in the clock versus all them other times the defense is going to be pressing him. This is his open shot. You got to take it. And so you kind of get that, and in doing so, you also create yourself to be a threat to take whatever shot. So next time the defense will respect you, come running at you, you can dribble it off and do something else with the ball or take it to the rim. So it's like there are a lot of things that Steph Curry wants to be the threat for. And when you see guys rushing at D'Angelo Russell and leaping like we saw in game 1, you understand that that's because they respect that shot is going to fly and hit him in the head. So they got to get out there and respect the 3. That allows him the ability to get off the dribble. If they don't think he's going to take that shot, You know how it goes. They play off of them 20 feet away and let them shoot. So it's that respect of hitting those shots that ultimately Steph Curry wants to continue to have down there. And guys like Jordan Poole just the same. So they're going to walk into those three-point shots at random sometimes, just so that next time when you think they take it off the dribble. So these are things we got to be ready for. You know, they got to have their own psychological advantages. They're going to be nights where all them shooters are going to hit higher percentages than what they did in game one. Because the key is they're really, really great three-point shooters, and we're really going to force them to shoot the ball. So we're going to see unprecedented shooting numbers from the Golden State Warriors. But the key to understand is those are the only shots they're going to get. And because of it, if we manage what we're doing in the offensive end and continuing to take high percentage shots, be good in our offensive looks, and don't overthink how that happens by putting only offense on the floor, removing the defensive dynamic that basically stifles the Warriors, then we could put ourselves in a position to get this team out of here, honestly. Because they're going to have to figure some unorthodox way of putting big enough players on the floor to guard us. And as a result, them Splash Brothers ain't going to be on the floor. And it just doesn't work. So they got to play small. They got to be successful small. And I don't think we have to overkill the Anthony Davis minutes to be big. We got Bamba. We got Vando playing the way that he is. We could put him in big lineups with Bron, AD, Winyan, Austin, and just be massive out there even when AD is sitting down. So I think these are things we need to do to just keep that size advantage, because it really does make things difficult for the Golden State Warriors to really just righteously attack us. And that's the scheme that I see down there. So, maybe Jordan Poole ultimately gets going, and that can kind of help open things up for their team as a whole. But it's all about the three-point shot, unless they start spamming. And I start using the word spamming because I've been listening to other people talk, but they start overusing Wiggins in driving situations, in my opinion, or other players as well, and just take the punishment that comes with it. Steph is going to do that. Clay's going to do that. They're going to have to. They're going to be times where they're just going to have to take the punishment in order to attack us properly. And that's a body sacrificing decision, and it probably will wear them down. You know what I mean? They're older now, so that's probably not smart. They could try with Draymond, you know what I mean? That's an option. Get him driving a bit more and ones and stuff like that. You don't like a bad free throw shooter going to the line too much, though. That's not really the best use of your situation. So it's like, again, Wiggins, DiVincenzo, maybe Gary, but he's also not that great of a free throw shooter. You probably want him not put in charge drawing situations, because you probably want him using his fouls more defensively. Kind of same thing with Wiggins. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's going to get rough for those guys, man. They don't have what they need. They don't have what they need. They need them a DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook type, somebody who's just going to rush at the rim, so they're not rendered strictly a three-point shooting team against a defense like us. Because against other defenses, most teams don't play defense, by the way. And so they're able to get in the paint and do their little layups and teardrops, stuff like that. And then from there, they shoot the ball when they want to. And Loney and those guys take care of the rest. Kuminga takes care of the rest. But in this series, how much success is Kuminga going to have down there against our defensives? That's the question. And if he could have some, then maybe that would be helpful for them. But the way he attacks, he's super fast off the dribble. He has handles like crazy. People don't even utilize him like in Golden State like I think he should be used. But, I mean, who's not on the floor when you're using it? That's the problem. That's why I think they should move him to the three in certain situations. Just try that. But that's a bit clunky. You know what I mean? You got, Draymond and Looney and him. It's a clunky situation. So their roster's out of whack, man. I honestly believe that the Golden State Warriors roster is not constructed properly right now. And they're going to have to make some trades to fix their situation. You know what I mean? Jordan Poole is a redundancy. And because they can't get the most out of him without shooting threes, they just had a schematic disadvantage just to lean into the strengths that they have. So they're all messed up, honestly. They just have so much talent to overcome it that they've been able to skate by in the regular season, and that's what we saw. They couldn't win on the road to save their life. They barely got by with such fantastic talent. So it's like, I think they should have been active at the trade deadline, and they weren't. Truth be told, that's the truth. They should have been active. And so this is what we see here, man. Golden State Warrior team that's constructed to play against teams like Boston, who are a little smaller. Maybe not Boston, actually, not right now. and you lose Wiseman, you're not constructed to go against anybody that has somebody like Robert Williams on your team. So I scratched that. But like, that's what it is. They need to go against small teams. I don't. Now that I'm looking at what's going on down there, I don't really like them against Denver either. If for some reason Denver got out and they beat us, it's not looking good for Golden State schematically going up against Jokic and all the things he does in the paint. And then all those guys that can chase around Steph Curry. But even so, when it comes to Jokic, you can lay the ball up over him. See, that's the change. That's the difference. They don't really have the interior blocking presence was necessary to keep them out of paint. So you probably do like them against Denver. Now I think about it. But it's like against the Lakers with a shot blocker, against the Celtics with a shot blocker this year. Those things, it just makes it a little more difficult for this unit that the Golden State Warriors have. And that's what I see here. We can knock them off right here. We're built perfectly to knock them off. And that's why we've had so much success. I'm sure that they will make the adjustment in the offseason, you know what I'm saying, to get themselves the players that they need, no doubt. But right now, they don't have them. They're just not there, man. So I don't really know what they're going to do, shoot more threes. You know what I mean? Bring out Patrick Baldwin and shoot 70 threes. That's what they really need to do. Bring out all the shooters. And just don't even worry about getting in the paint and live with the strengths of your three-point shooting. Break records shooting threes. That's all. That's what they need to do. Because that's all they can do. And every time you drive, you get them swatted. I mean, what? You know. And then defensively, it's like, all right, Anthony Davis is gobbling up offensive rebounds, man. We're getting second and third chance points left and right. He's just killing these dudes. So as long as that's the case, we're doing great. Now, the balance is to not overuse him, which is why I think we should look for other things that we could do to keep ourselves that size. What I was saying about Bamba, that's why that's in place, so that we can give him the breaks necessary. So LeBron James is a player in the series that can just attack, but he's got to understand, man. He's got to understand. Them three-point shots, they don't do nothing for him. They don't do nothing for him, man. It's just eating away his efficiency. And so it's just like I always say, you want to contribute so much to your team. He's doing an amazing job defensively, assisting Anthony Davis and Vanderbilt. But he's got to understand that the three-point shots are turnovers too. So when he's a high ball handling player, you're going to contribute to turnovers. So if you're going to contribute to turnovers, then we can't have you going 1 for 7 and 1 for 8. That's very difficult for your teammates to overcome. And so LeBron James has got to find a way to get his numbers another way, or accept the fact that his numbers are coming down and get other numbers to make up for it in his efficiency. He's already doing enough on the defensive end. He doesn't have to overshoot to take away from that efficiency level, because it really does translate to taking away from the team itself, not just your own stats. So it's like, I think LeBron James is trying to conserve energy. I think LeBron James is trying to remain a threat. I think LeBron James is taking open shots and respects the fact that he's been hitting these shots his entire life. And in big moments, he's hit threes and it's no problem. But for whatever reason, from a shot-to-shot basis throughout the course of a game, his rhythm is just not there for him to be hitting the shots. He needs to think that it's only 3 seconds left for the thing in order for it to go in. And so if that's what it is, he'll never miss one when it matters most. Just shoot those in the end, bro. Don't be shooting them all throughout the course of the game for whatever reason. So psychologically, you just can't seem to hit those rhythmically. And that's okay. Same thing at the free throw line. The player's one of the greatest players ever played the game. But at the free throw line, he shoots 68%. It just does not work out. For whatever reason, that's not his algorithm to get up there and be consistent with that type of muscle memory for whatever reason. But he can't shoot the three that way. You can't will yourself to being a great three-point shooter. What you will do, though, is will yourself toward being a bad three-point shooter by continuing to shoot so many. And that's what he's done over the course of his years. He's never shot the three very well unless it's pressured. Some guys get hot here and there, and he tends to get hot, of course, but he wasn't built to shoot the three. And he shoots it so much, and it gets to a point where he takes away from the team. And it gets to a point where I don't care what it is you're trying to create in terms of space and the jab. At the end of the day, it messes with the team because they have to work so hard to get back on defense to recover that damn thing because it doesn't get rebounded. So can we get better at rebounding it? And can he get better at not shooting it? I've said this a million times, man. LeBron James say you want to be the best player to ever play the game. Well, brother, it starts Now, forget everything that's been done before. We need you to help this Laker team, because this Laker team needs more offensive possessions against that Warrior team. That's what we need. We're getting the offensive boards because AD and Vando and these guys, they're getting to the offensive boards, but we have got to stop giving away possessions by these 3-point shots going up and clanking, man. So that needs to be said, bro. Him and Austin have got to tighten up with them 3-point shots. Austin's efficiency has been off a little bit, to say the least, for the last couple games. And I ain't lost sight of that in the presence of everything else that's been going well for us. We got to get him and Bron aligned with what they need to be doing from behind the arc, because the Golden State Warriors are definitely going to be efficient from behind there. So the ones we take got to be the ones we make. And that's how I feel about it, man. Let's get more efficient from behind the arc. And so, yeah, that's where my head is. Like what I saw from DS in the last game, that has to continue. Please continue to get to the line. I don't care if you make the layup or not, as long as you're getting to the line. Hitting them free throws, we're going to get the production we need from you. That's just how that goes. And it puts a lot of pressure on those guys to try to keep up with him, speed running and all of that. So we want to continue to do that. Steph Curry is one of the most incredible, conditioned athletes in the world. So we don't want to wear down any one player trying to guard him all series long. We're going to need these players in future series if we're blessed enough to overcome the Warriors. So what I think is throw him many looks, whether they work or not. The idea is to keep ourselves from running out of gas with players that are still going to have to do this in future series. We want to go for the whole thing, and we're going to need the gas to do it. Steph Curry's going to wear us out, man. And so that's what I've come to understand. We just got to throw different people. Don't have Vandalorian on him all series long. You're going to wear him out. Don't have the only other person to get on him is Dennis Schroeder. It's going to wear him out. We got to throw him different looks. Everybody got to go chase this man around at some point in time, just to keep everybody fresh in doing so. And I think that that's very important. So yeah, that's where my head is. This thing could end early if we tighten our screws completely and just have that mentality that we're going to jump on top of this team fast every night, whether they're getting off to a good start or not. I loved how we did that. They were hitting threes. We were attacking on the inside. We were getting to the line. Everything they did, we had an answer for. And even when they had their little run in the end, we had an answer for that as well. Our defense to offense is how we win. And I think it's going to continue to be how we attack. So please don't worry so much about half-court offense and things of that nature, Lakers. We're going to get our points in transition. We're going to get our points blocking shots. And that's how it goes, man. Rebound the ball, respect Kevon Looney and Draymond Green, and just continue to understand this particular thing. Draymond's hit his 3 over the last couple games. It's been falling. So leaving him open right now, play that by ear. Play that by serious ear, because he has hit a few. So that's something that I wanted to just say. I'm watching that. It's the real thing. Also, in case we're not certain of this, when Moody's on the floor, he's a two-way guy. Do not think that he's somebody to put some, weak stuff on. You gotta be ready for him to really clamp up and turn his defense into offense. And so they're gonna utilize him a lot. He's playing well, and we gotta be ready for that if they do call his number. And Gary, just trust that Gary Payton is a steals guy. He's gonna steal the ball. He's gonna play defense. He's got long arms. He's extremely athletic, and he's getting more conditioned by the second. As the series progresses, he's only going to get in better shape. So we need to be ready for that type of dynamic with Gary Payton II. He's going to chase around players like Austin and D'Lo and Schroeder. And he's going to probably have to chase around Bron in some cases too. So we just got to be ready for Gary. And, yeah, I don't think he can guard Rui Hachimura. Salute the Kobe minute, by the way. Definitely want to do that. But I don't think he can guard Rui. I think Rui can score over him and body him, even though he's very strong. He ain't strong enough. So if we can test that out, if my theory works, we can find something there. You don't want to play with Gary Payton by any stretch of the imagination, but if you want to wear him down, that's one way to do it. The Rui is the way. You saw how he backed down Clay. The Rui is the way. So that's what I got to say about that, man. We can't keep limiting his minutes. He's too much of First of all, he's too healthy of a body, too capable of a strong person, and shoots entirely too well from unorthodox places to not utilize him. When you look at what's going on in New York with Jalen Brunson attacks in some very unorthodox ways, and it's one of the reasons why he's going to be one of the best players out there. Rui Hachimura is not much different. Not much different because he loves the mid-range, and he's such a strong person that he's very difficult to stop without flopping off of him. So this is a guy that we need to understand. We're not utilizing him as well as we should, and I understand that he still has some development to do. But I think we should utilize him a bit more because he's been very successful in these playoffs, and I don't know why we're holding back in that way. He may make mistakes if we ramp it up. Don't get it twisted. He doesn't have to continue to play as well if we lean on him more. I think it's could go either way, you know what I'm saying? But I do think for what it is that we need, I'd rather lean into what I'm seeing, which is that he's balling out, and we need to give him more minutes. And if he proves that he can't handle those, then we can scale back to where we are, and I think we'll be okay with that. I think that's how you play it, but we don't want to lose sight of the fact that this guy gives us a major advantage against this team. They don't really want to throw anybody on him but Draymond or Kevon. That's pretty much it. Anybody else he gonna do wrong to. Kuminga maybe. Other than that, they don't have the answer, and they don't know that yet. They just figured that out in the first game. So, yeah, the Rui is the way. I'm telling you. And of course, Vando. I've been so happy with him. I just don't want to overuse him, man. I'm one of those people that just think players like that can get hurt easily or wear down easily. So it's on the franchise to not overuse them just because they have the ability to be overused. I want this guy to be healthy and be able to do this, not only this playoffs, but next playoffs, the playoffs after that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to use him in the spurts that's best for his body. And of course, they know that better than I ever would. But I'm just kind of paranoid about players like that. I don't want to overuse him because I want him to have all the energy in the end, because that's when I need him to be at his best. That's when I need him to be not banged up. So that's my thing about him. It's definitely a necessity that we have him chase Steph around, but have this in mind as well. So these are things I'm thinking about, man. As I told you guys, Austin Reeves, he may surprise me and have a really, really huge series just because he's that talented of a player. But he's going to have to overcome some hellacious defense in this series. So I just think he's going to have to get in where he fits in and probably use the pass more so in this series, get his assists, as he always does, 8-7 assists. I expect him to continue to do that and take the shot where he can, but not overshoot it like he has been with these type of defenders on him. He's a hell of an efficient player when he puts the ball on the floor. He draws fouls very well, as we know, gets and ones about as well as anybody on the team. I just want to continue to empower him to do that. And if we can get these guys that are really, really good defensively off of him, that's key. Anthony Davis in foul trouble is everything. Sometimes Anthony Davis plays a little funny with foul trouble, picks up some dumb ones. I anticipate that happening in this series, hopefully not tonight, but he's going to have to stay out of foul trouble and on the floor for the Lakers. Not overused by our coach, but available just the same. That's really what it is. And with that being said, you got to give him his flowers. I don't think there's anybody playing better basketball right now. Maybe Booker. Who else? It was somebody back east that's playing out of their mind. But like Anthony Davis is playing some of the best basketball in the world right now. And so it needs to be said. It's not just about scoring. It's just about how you handle yourself defensively as well. I mean, he's just being so very dominant. And it's really translating to the Los Angeles Lakers' success. Even though, again, high usage minutes and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, we got to respect it. You just got to respect it, man. The guy is playing out his mind. Jimmy Butler was who I was trying to remember, by the way. But, Anthony Davis playing about as good as Jimmy. When you consider what all Jimmy's doing and you look at what all AD's doing on both sides, it's like, hey, it's a little close. It's closer than people think. So, that's really what I'm trying to say here. I just want Anthony Davis to continue to empower himself to believe that his body can do what it is he needs to do and let his mind, be hungry enough to bring forth the best basketball he can provide us. He looks good out there. He hasn't, had any issues when he falls to the ground. He gets up. I've liked what I've seen from him physically, and I think it's still a testament to the work that he put in initially in the offseason, and we've talked about it all year. He just tried to do some things differently, and I think he should think about the work that he's put in, be proud of that now as his body continues to respond well in this series. So that's what I want to say. I think AD is responding well to the big minutes. Even though we're worried about it, he doesn't appear to be, and he looks good. So knock on wood, hopefully we continue to see a good stretch of healthy basketball for Anthony Davis while being cautious and ready for any time that he will need to sit down in this series. Stay ready, guys. Be ready. You know what I'm saying? Health is everything. So we got to assume that health will not always be in place, and stay as sharp and as absolutely ready with the things necessary to be there as possible for him and Bron. It's just necessary to think that way and be blessed and happy with good health. That's what I got to say, man. We got to be ready to be ready. You feel me? I don't care who's out there. We're still going after Larry O'Brien, and we have the length and we're constructed well enough to do it. So we got to believe that while we're healthy and continue to move forward. That's what I got to say about the team, because I think we can do it, especially if we don't get in our own way. So this is where it is, man. The Golden State Warriors obviously are hosting Game 2. I did not come even halfway prepared about what time the game starts, so I'm not going to tell you that I know. Check for yourselves, and I'll probably come back later with another video confirming for certain. But nevertheless, they do play at Chase Center tonight, and the game is going to be high-spirited, man. They lost the first game. Their fans are not going to come out with anything less than their best. E40 going to be in the house. All of it is going to be star-studded, and we know that the Golden State Warriors are a proud bunch. I think that they're more than likely to give us their best shot. They're going to play this game as if it's the game of their lives. They're about to go on the road. If they drop this game, they're down 0-2, and there's no guarantee they can win on the road. We know that. Their record on the road has been bad all season, excuse me. So they did win some games on the road, including Game 7 against the Kings. And that's nice, but I don't think they want to test it. Leaving Oracle without picking up a win is something that the champs are not going to want to accept. So in order to beat them, we know what it takes. Effort. That's the name of the game in regards to this series, effort. I'm going to use that word a lot when we're talking about going against the Warriors, because that's what's required. You got to chase Steph Curry. You got to stay close to Klay Thompson. You got to be mindful that Jordan Poole is always moving too. You got to stop Andrew Wiggins and understand that he's helping his team in intangible ways. You got to stop the playmaking of Draymond Green on top of the defensive stuff that he's doing and all the other loud things that he does as well, contributing to the overall aura of the floor. You got to stay focused against these guys and play harder than them. Gary Payton is going to play hard. DiVincenzo is going to play hard. Kevon Looney is playing like Dennis Rodman. You got to give them effort. Wenyen Gabriel, Austin Reeves, Schroeder, AD, LeBron, all of our guys, D'Lo. There needs to be effort out there. Troy Brown, Vandalorian. It's going to take your effort to overcome the Golden State Warriors. You cannot get discouraged when they go on runs or if they happen to have the lead at the end of a game. You just got to understand that schematically you are built to defeat them. So long as you erase things at the rim, you will beat them if you rim protect. So that's really where my head is at, man. We got to keep blocking shots as we're constructed to do. Give Anthony Davis his breather where necessary. D'Lo needs to continue to be smart about his possessions while letting it fly just the same in balance. And I think this team will be fantastic going forward against the Warriors, whether we're in our house or their house. They're going to have to deal with things that they just not built to deal with. So that's what I see there. I'm not without a great deal of respect for the champs or their ability to overcome great, disadvantages. But this one, they're just not built to overcome, not in a 7-game series. So we can use those advantages, be mindful of how to preserve our health to keep those advantages, because that is the formula for Darvin Ham and our coaching staff. And we'll be fine. I guarantee you we'll be fine. So that's what I got to say, man. That's where my head is at. I'm excited about this game, even though I don't know what time it starts. I definitely will be watching. And that's really what it is, man. AD and Bron are probable. I think everybody in the Golden State Warriors, they got a few guys that were banged up, but none of the noteworthy names to my memory, I guess is a word I can make up here, to my memory. But all in all, I expect the team to be seriously fired up, fighting for their lives, and sharp and crisp all night long. Steph Curry, I'll be extremely surprised if he doesn't have another game 7 like 50 point performance, he's going to launch, he's going to hit them, they're going to be from far away. But we can always erase them little layups that ultimately open up the game for him. We can erase those, we can demoralize him at the rim, and that is where we can be key. Even if he gets these little layups over your head, all that little stuff, whatever, he ain't going to do it 4 games. He ain't going to do it 4 games if we do what we're supposed to do. So, Vando, that means you, man. Stay on this man like you've been doing. If you're put on him for 48 minutes, I know that you can do it. I don't have any doubt. I wouldn't do it in terms of trying to put you on him that long, but I don't know what Darvin will choose to do. But we're going to need you to be fresh, hydrated, and ready to go, chasing the best athlete basically running right now. He's just running all day long and shooting, and they're setting screens. So we got to be ready for the adjustments. And AD, be ready to be double teamed, triple teamed, quadruple teamed, all that. Be ready for the quick pass. Ready. Because I'm telling you, it's coming. They're going to adjust. They don't want you scoring 30 points. They do not. So be ready for the quick Gary Payton closeout, Klay Thompson closeout is coming. Just know it. We got to be ready for the adjustment on Anthony Davis to no end. They're going to crowd him out. So that's what I see there, man. At some point, it may not come today. Maybe it comes every day, but just be ready for that. So, yeah, man, Steve Kerr, take him seriously. He wins a lot. We respect that he could be arguably the greatest coach not named Phil Jackson or, Popovich and all these other great names that are also in that realm. We just got to respect he's one of them. And go at him accordingly. Be ready for what he does. In-game adjustments is our fruit to our lives, ladies and gentlemen. In-game adjustments. That's the combination lock key to everything for the Lakers. As long as we know that whatever they're doing, we can adjust to based on our roster, we'll be home free, man. Make those adjustments and be comfortable doing it. Get the cold hand off the floor, that kind of thing. Don't overshoot. You can't beat Steph Curry to 3-point shooting contest. We know that. You can't beat Klay Thompson to 3-point shooting contest. We know that. Just none of us can do that over here. So let's just be real about that. D'Angelo's a hell of a shooter, but we do not want to overshoot out here. We know how to beat them. Inside, out, defense to offense, stop them at the rim, and they are done. That's what I got to say, man. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.